very excited to be moderating this panel on mixed-use developments. And for today, we're effectively going to be touching on strategies for effectively looking at long-term value creation. And we'll be touching on three main topics today. The first one is vision and value creation. The second one being partnerships and execution. And the third one being future readiness and innovation. So very excited to have four panelists with us today. Pedro from Rua Al Madina. We have Ronald from DWTC, Ayman from Radisson, and finally Khaled from Marjan. Welcome, gentlemen. All right. Pedro, starting off with you. So undoubtedly, Rua Al Madina is one of the world's largest hospitality-led mixed-use developments. So we've always wondered, how does such a large-scale development aim to balance investment, scale, and cultural authenticity?
Thank you, Nicholas. Good morning, all the colleagues, panelists. It's a pleasure to be here representing Rua Al Madina. To address your question, regarding the scale, effectively, Rua Al Madina potentially is one of the world's biggest hospitality projects. We did not yet went to market. We soon will be going to market end of this year, and we will be announcing the number of keys. Regarding the balance, we need to understand that we are speaking about one of the holy cities, a special place, and we need to preserve the authenticity of Medina. So while delivering a global project, we need to, while delivering the standards of a global project, we need to respect the authenticity of Medina. It's one of our, let's say, priorities to do so. So far, we've been amazed by the level of, let's say, requests to be involved in the project. And while addressing to these requests, the first thing that the team does is understanding if they are understanding how important and special the project is. So preserving the authenticity of Medina, it's one of the things that we want to make sure that we'll be doing.
And how does this work from a milestone perspective or gateways in the development milestones? How does cultural authenticity make sure that, how do you ensure that cultural authenticity is preserved through the process of designing and developing?
So there's a whole history of Medina. And while building the project per phase, the majority of the project will be, receiving outside investors. And while understanding what the investors can work with us, we need to make sure that all of this history, all of the key heritage things that Medina has, they will be also delivering accordingly with certain criteria that we are implementing in the master plan.
Excellent. So you're not just telling a story of investment and targets and returns, but also that which is meaningful from an authentic perspective that also delivers a story from that perspective to the investors.
Yes, it's also one of the priority of the projects. It's to bring to the world the awareness and the whole length of the history of Medina and the connection with the Prophet Mosque and the project being connected with such a holy place. We need to make sure that whoever is coming to the project as either investors or a visitor understand this heritage.
Excellent. Thank you. Khaled, over to you. So undoubtedly, Marjan plays a transformational role in the development of Ras Al Khaimah and the tourism industry. From a commercial standpoint, what's really driving the next wave of growth in terms of investor interest and really making sure this portfolio is as successful as possible in the long run?
Well, thank you, Nick, and good morning to everyone. So, many factors play the role of the current situation and the future plan of Ras Al Khaimah. I would start with the location, being the strategic location where Ras Al Khaimah today is located at the gateway of the entrance to the Gulf, as well as the international level being in the heart of the world, connecting the Far East with the Asian market and the African market, as well as the CIS market and Europe. So being accessible to 5 international airports today, and we have our own Airport, where we have the upgrade of the VIP terminal, as well as the accessibility within the 1-hour vicinity to Dubai Airport, and Emirates Airlines being the airlift is connecting us to almost 200 plus destinations, as well as the other airports where we have Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, and the other Maktoum upcoming airport that's going to be one of the largest. So that plays one of the main roles, as well as the, when we're talking about Ras Al Khaimah, Ras Al Khaimah is diversified in its own contribution. As you know, it's today rated A and A positive by Fitch and S&P. And that is due to the diversity in the market. We have the contribution of the GDP from activity point of view comes from the manufacturing. Then comes the wholesale, which contribute almost 35 or 40%, while each and every activity does not contribute more than 10%. So this diversity on its own gives us the edge to be attracting different and various in the businesses that we have internationally and locally. The legal framework as well is something that give the inception for the investors and the institutional money that we have today, more than one and multiple actually institutional funds that are on ground today in the real estate and hospitality market, in the real estate of Marjan and Ras Al Khaimah. These in general create the future, and this actually open the gateway for all the investors to look at the future ahead. So based on this, we started to look at the planning and look at the short, medium, and long-term plans. So we have plans for the Sector 6, which is announced today, the first section out of it, which is Marjan Beach, which we can talk about it in details. But in general, Marjan Island is considered as one of the destinations that attract the hospitality and the tourism of Ras Al Khaimah. Today we are at 1.1 or 1.2 to 1.5 million visitors today, and we are expecting 2027 onwards to reach almost 4.5 to 5.5 million, which means that we have a lot of things to do, and that on its own attract the market. That is in general what we are doing currently with Ras Al Khaimah.
Excellent. Very exciting. I think this sense of scale and also the speed at which you're, selling plots and the scale of development. To give you my side of the story as well as a consultant, we very often look at destination benchmarks in terms of, local, regional, international master plan developments with a tourism perspective, and how fast they've grown. We always refer to Marjan as one of those benchmarks, and of course, the future being quite a multiplier compared to what we've already seen over the last 10 years. So, excellent work so far. Ronald, I'd like to understand from you. So, as we know, DWTC manages 2 prime mixed-use developments, Trade Center, and now Expo more recently. How do you ensure that your investment strategy, your asset mix, and your placemaking principles really remain aligned in order to drive that long-term value creation?
Yeah, no, thanks, Nicholas. So Dubai World Trade Center owns and is investing in 2 prime districts, one in the heart of the city, the Trade Center district, which includes One Central, and a new district that we have at Expo City. Our vision for these is that they are the world's leading live, work, play, meet districts, anchored by the regions and some of the world's leading convention centers, right? Now, how do we get value out of this? It's through a few different things. One is the mixed use of the district. We have to have a combination of the convention center with hotels, with offices, with residential, and with retail to support that. Because each of these assets in that mix does better than standalone. Our hotels connected to our convention center do better than standalone hotels. Our hotels connected to the office district do better than standalone hotels. So the mix is really important. Because when I worked in DIFC, I wanted to live in DIFC and just walk through Gate Avenue to my office. And we see that increasing value for each of these asset classes. So one is we really believe in mixed use. Number two is we are big believers in transit-oriented development. In both our districts, we have metro stations. And we want to make it very easy for people to use the metro and come to our convention centers, come to our offices, and come to our hotels. The third piece, which I'd say Dubai hasn't done as well, or even the Middle Eastern cities haven't done as well compared to, say, Singapore and Hong Kong, is year-round pedestrian walkability. Because the 6 months of the year, let's face it, it's pretty warm here. Whereas Singapore has 200 kilometers of covered walkways. Likewise with Hong Kong. Dubai has seen that. And we're now investing in downtown in a pilot project called the Dubai Future Loop. The Future Loop is an air-conditioned bridge that will go around Emirates Towers and connect DIFC to Emirates Towers, to the metro station, and to Trade Center. So if you're one of the 45,000 people working in DIFC, you will be able to walk fully air-conditioned pedestrian walkway to 25 Hours Hotel or to any of our big exhibitions, GITEX, Gulfood, and our convention center. So another key factor for the success and value of a mixed-use district is year-round pedestrian walkability. The last piece is, we always focus on the hardware. We don't talk enough about the software, and that's placemaking. We've launched a new licensed street called 25 Jump Street, which is in our One Central district. And a key part of that is we want to have a year-round calendar of events where we bring people for Oktoberfest or for any other special event to our district. And that software aspect is really key to attracting people because we want our district to be the living room for the city. And for that, you have to not just think about the hardware, but also the software.
Brilliant. And what can you tell us about asset mix? And what do you believe is really the key to unlocking value in the asset mix and making sure that there is this malleability for future-proofing as well?
So I think phasing is key. It's to allow for optionality and change in a city. So we have built in phases and will continue to build in phases. I think the anchor in both of our districts has been the convention centers. Our convention center in the heart of the city attracts 2.65 million visitors a year. Our office district has 17,000 people working there. So organically, we're seeing what these people want. We have the Middle East headquarters of Bain and BCG. We know that those people would love to stay in the district. So that organically means that we might think about residential product for them. Or since where we are, our new district in Expo City is going to be next to the main passenger terminal for what will be the world's biggest airport. So we're already thinking ahead. Who might want to be next to the main passenger terminal for the world's biggest airport? We look around the world, there are many instances of office districts with offices for consulting firms, people who need to travel a lot. But I'd say we need to allow for some optionality. We also need to allow for redevelopment. So I think over the next 10 years, you will see us consider redevelopment of some of our historic, legacy assets.
Excellent, thank you. I'd like to move on now to partnerships and execution. Pedro, so within the PIF ecosystem, how does Ruwa Al Madina partner and collaborate in a way that really unlocks this long-term value creation?
So first of all, Ruwa Al Madina is very proud to belong to the PIF ecosystem. Within the same ecosystem, we do share learning, investments, everything that the other projects went through. We are blessed to learn what were those learnings and implement in Ruwa Al Madina project. There are certain, let's say, either Giga or portfolio companies in the ecosystem of PIF that help us understanding what is the road that effectively we need to go through and deliver it. Being mindful, again, that Ruwa Al Madina is pretty much an hospitality-focused project. Being also mixed use, having residential, retail, an integrated smart city. All of the things that the Giga projects that started or portfolio projects that started way before Royal Medina, we are blessed to have their learning. So we have joint sessions, we have workshops that we learn regarding the investor attraction, FDIs. So we have in Royal Medina something that the other projects are trying to have. So Medina last year had 18 million visitors, and we need to build very fast to address to these visitors. And growing visitors, that will be 30 million until 2030. So within the learning process of how the other projects were developed, we are also understanding what we can do faster in order to address and meet this huge demand that we are having towards the city of Medina. We, being a unique project, we will have unique set of investors that understand the uniqueness of the projects. So within everything that PIF is doing in the kingdom, we really understand and redirect whatever investors are to come to the Medina, understanding what is the project, the special project to be delivered.
And another thing that you have going for yourself is if you look at occupancy for the hospitality industry, out of all markets in Saudi Arabia, Medina at 71, 72 plus. That's something else that puts you on a pedestal, really.
Well, I will question now the 71, okay? Because what we see on a daily basis is people visiting Medina and staying in Jeddah. We commute, the team members, they commute from Jeddah to Medina, and while in the train, they ask, where are you going, what are you doing? And they say, I'm going to visit the Prophet Mosque, but I don't have a place to stay. This puts us on a very high level of responsibility to deliver the project fast. From the investor attraction perspective, and being such a unique project, we understand that the 70% that you kindly mentioned will be much higher. We see it reaching the likes of 90%, if not 95, or I will be even more blunt, 100%. Because what we see to the whole year of Medina is a city that is always busy, is a city that the occupancy of hotels is rising and growing as we speak. So there's a huge, let's say, ambitious towards the timeline that we need to deliver effectively our project.
95% is
I will point to the 100%.
That's a bold statement.
That's why, and you kindly start this forum mentioning that we are one of the world's biggest hospitality project. There's a reason behind the numbers. So we know that demand is there. So we are building a global destination that we already have a demand there. So this, from the investor perspective, it's unique.
Can't wait to see that investor memorandum.
You are my guest.
No, but undoubtedly, you're creating something very special, full integration, asset mix that is very, very thoughtfully designed. And you're essentially redefining the real estate offering in Medina, right? And creating this new paradigm for the market. So, you know, those aspirations do have some basis at least, definitely. Khaled, over to you now. So you've recently launched the new Marjan Beach Master Plan. Congratulations for that. Could you shed some light on how you aim to benefit both investors and the destination in the long run?
Well, after the success of Al Marjan Island and how it was introduced to all the hospitality and the developers and the residential class or the asset class for the branded residents, etc., the amount of demand and the interest that we have received from the developers allowed us to look beyond only Al Marjan Island. After we call it the win-win, and the magnet and the attraction that we have got from it. It actually allowed us to enable the market for various opportunities. We started with Rack Central, which is another live, work, and play model that we have, the Minutes community, I would say. Then we moved to create more of hospitality on the ultra-luxury on the front side. This master plan is 85 million square feet, so it's a large one. I would say the front line where we'll have most of the luxury and the ultra-luxury hospitality there. And then the second line will be more of the residential with a very easy access, and it's modern. It's designed actually by Gensler. So we looked at each and every detail of mobility, accessibility, and heights, views, how to access the beach with walking and walkable sikas and pedestrian walks, cycling tracks that can take you even to Al Marjan Island. So we can walk today from Al Marjan Island to the Marjan Beach and again to Wynn Island by cycling or by walking. And from the second, third, and fourth row, where you will have more of the residential and the convention village that we are building as well, that will attract as well the more of the exhibitions, attractions. So it's based on how we cater the market in Marjan. We started looking at building Marjan Beach. So the mixed-use development will have, as I told you, the hospitality, the residential, on the luxury side, branded residence, as well as the family homes and accommodation for the staff at the backside. That is for Wynn, for example, we are building today the Wynn staff accommodation. It's almost about to be completed, and it's well done by Banyan Tree standards. So it's a great addition to the staff accommodation in Ras Al Khaimah, as well as the TechFlix that is by Rakaz, where we are focusing more on the technology, innovation, the entrepreneurs, etc. So that on its own, by the completion, we're working on the infrastructure today. By the completion, on its own will be a great milestone on building the emirate and create a new opportunities, job opportunities, attraction for the public facility, schools, universities, hospitals, clinics, etc. So this is a rising community on its own. I would say everyone can be part of it by providing the service, or can be owning its own real estate component or hospitality or anything. It's just we enable the market for everyone to benefit out of it by having these components in the Emirate of Ras Al Khaimah. Yeah.
Excellent, thank you. Ayman, we haven't forgotten about you.
No, I'm listening and learning, so.
So obviously, brands and operators play a pivotal role in defining a destination and making it come alive. How do you define a truly successful relationship between developers and operators, specifically when it comes to mixed-use developments?
I mean, mixed use is such a vast variety. I mean, we have three giants here in mixed use, and they've done them very well, and each one's completely different. But you can also have a very, very small mixed use operation. So mixed use works in many different ways. For me, and most hotel operators, we have to understand what the developer wants, what he needs. In Medina, it's completely different than in the IFC, in Marjan Island, the beach. So you have to understand who your partner is, the developer, and what are the key components they want. Then we select the brand, and make sure that all the components are talking to each other. Is it mall, is it entertainment, is it F&B, office? So there are many different components that can be used in the mixed use. Just got to make sure that 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever the size is, and that they're all working together.
Very good. And how often do you work in terms of integrating, for example, your public spaces, your communal areas with the rest of the master plan? How does that look from your process standpoint?
I mean, it could work in many different ways. So it depends on the project and how big it is. Because, some of the sizes, there's a lot of integration, and when the hotel is just one component. I mean, it could be a 500-key hotel and pretty small component in these master plans. So it comes in the design phase, and then it's all about the strategy.
Yeah.
So as long as we're all aligned in the strategy and what are the end goals, we can talk and then decide. Do we open them up? Do we have some segregation? Obviously, if you have luxury, you don't want to mix it with the large shopping mall. So we have to discuss and decide which brand will help the master plan and the mixed-use development.
And would you say Radisson has any specific brands that would work best in a mixed-use scenario, or is it brand agnostic? There's no real pattern to this.
No, our brands are quite flexible and they adapt to the needs of the market. So again, if we're talking luxury, we have one that we can use. If we're talking more a flexible brand, you know, our Radisson 4-star kind of could be adapted to the certain scenario. Now we're working more on a bit of lifestyle hotels.
Yep.
So with the lifestyle, you know, on Marjan Island, we have the Radisson Red coming up, which is a beautiful product, and it will add in that sense. So again, it can play flexible. You know, we're all getting into branded residences now. That's another component. So we're talking one project where very unique brand of ours, Art Hotel, also lifestyle culture, but the developer is saying, I love the hotel, but I'm not sure about it being a branded residence. That name doesn't carry weight. So we talk about dual branding in that sense. So it could be a Radisson Blue branded residence, but an art hotel that attracts to the mixed use.
Excellent. Ronald, you've obviously worked on many public-private partnerships and a lot of mixed-use development frameworks. So I was wondering, what do you do to ensure that this government-led vision, pairing that with the private sector agility, and how does that work in terms of creating a long-lasting community impact in the long run?
Sure. So I think for a successful mixed-use district, you have to have long-term vision. And we have long-term vision and a long-term investment horizon. It's also critical to have a network of partnerships that brings that to life. And we've done that with the private sector, and we've done that with the public sector. On the public sector, the RTA, the Roads and Transport Authority, has been critical and has been a fantastic partner ensuring great access to our two districts, both across roads, metro, and now pedestrian connectivity. On the private sector front, we have some great partners. We've now partnered with Emaar for a big development, a mixed-use development in our new district in Expo City called Expo Living, and we will continue to have multiple partnerships with different types of private sector players. On the placemaking front, right, a key factor for the success of a mixed-use district, we have partnered with Ennismore, which operates our 25 Hours Hotel, and Seven Management to bring the first licensed street to Dubai, 25 Jump Street. And again, it's not just first licensed street, where they're responsible as part of the partnership for activation and programming. So they will bring the street alive and make us a cultural district, and again, the living room for the district. So I think I'd say partnerships are key, and we have a long-term vision and long-term horizon when it comes to these partnerships.
Excellent, thank you. Now I'd like to move on to future readiness and innovation. Ayman, ESG and lifestyle are key drivers and key trends that we're seeing in terms of the influence on mixed-use developments and the synergies between operators and brands. So how do you think Radisson is adapting itself to this development model and to remain agile and relevant in the long term as well?
I mean, on the ECG front, we've been part of our DNA for the last 30, 40 years, you know, at a smaller level at the beginning because it wasn't as big. Right now, we are committed to 2050 net zero, to have all our portfolio, 1,500 hotels as of now, to be net zero by 2050. We're already in the process. You know, equality, we're investing in leadership. 50% of our leadership will be women, and we're already about 30% right now. So, and then if you go back to it, you know, if you simplify things, and I think that's what we got away from in the many years. Now we're going back to the simplifying and making, and understanding that that works. And it's build green, green energy, and then green operations. And we're saving money in the long run for the developer. There's a bit of an initial extra investment, but we're all getting many benefits before it and that. And now to jump to the lifestyle, we have 10 brands right now under Radisson Hotel Group. And those 10 brands, we have 3 lifestyle brands, so 30% is. So it's a big component. We are just introducing in the region now, or bringing in Prize Hotel by Marriott, sorry, Prize by Radisson. I was thinking something else.
There, yeah.
No, Prize by Radisson. And it's an entry-level, mid-scale lifestyle hotel, very IT-centric, very technology-driven, colorful, and it's and it's designed with efficiency
Yeah.
for this environmental. So even at the lower level, we believe lifestyle is the future, and at least there's enough people demanding for it.
Excellent, thank you. Last question of the day for Ronald. So if you had to boil down the future of mixed-use developments in maybe one word, what would that be? And what does it also mean to be AI ready in terms of future competitiveness and staying relevant and with that competitive edge?
Sure. So I think you need to think about both the hardware and the software. Being AI ready is really critical. In the last 2 weeks, I've had 2 conversations related to AI and how we as the master developer need to incorporate that. One was a discussion with a sector that we're trying to attract into our offices. And they said, listen, we need a lot of compute, a lot of AI compute for what we're trying to do. Another discussion was in the hospitality sector. Again, they said we're going to leverage a lot of AI and we need this compute. So that means we will all need to have edge data centers in our mixed-use districts for our districts to be competitive. Because a lot of the AI compute right now is far away. And it's focused 75% on the large language models and 25% just on the inferencing, which is you and me asking ChatGPT, where should I go for lunch? That's going to shift. It's going to be 75% inferencing at the edge. That means we're going to need to have edge data center compute in all of our districts, because today I have 15,000 visitors in my convention center for an exhibition. All of them, if they start using ChatGPT, we don't have enough compute in the district for all of that. So we're going to have to, coming back to partnerships, we're going to have to partner with the world's best operators of edge data centers to make sure that our mixed-use districts are AI ready for the future.
You'll have to build a dedicated data center just to support your exhibitors right next to it. Great, gentlemen, thank you all for your time. A big hand of applause for the panelists.